We're a theatre company based in London, and we've been creating the unexpected since 1993. At Told by an Idiot, we've always embraced the artifice of performance. We've always been fascinated by trying to inhabit the space between laughter and pain. And we often say we make theatre for anyone who breathes. We respond to each particular play that we've done. So for instance, with Comedy of Errors, which is Shakespeare's maddest play, most anarchic play. It's basically a play which takes place in 24 hours where one group of twins arrive in a place where there are an identical set of twins. The whole city is infected by a kind of madness. That's how extreme it is. And it's very funny potentially. But my approach to it was we were often very influenced by film more than theatre. So I was at the time, very influenced by a Yugoslavian film director called Emir Kusturica. And with my designer and composer, we all watched a film of his called Black Cat, White Cat. And it's a crazy world in this story. You know, an old man is in bed in hospital and a brass band comes in to take him out of the bed, and they all carry him and the band is playing as they take him out. So it was this spirit that I said, I want to capture something of that spirit which I think will connect to the Shakespeare. And the other thing I said to my composer is I would like all of the actors to become a band. So we worked very hard to get the right actors who could play the instruments. And for the first week of rehearsal, every morning we didn't look at the script, we just played music. And I think that's a very unusual approach. If you went into most rehearsal rooms in England, you start from the script. You start by reading the play. We didn't. We started by making a band, and they played every morning and learnt this music. The great thing about working like that was that when we started to go to the play, they really listened to each other. Because of course, to play music, you have to listen to each other. 95% of our work is made through improvisation. We like to give ourselves enough time before rehearsal. So we have a period of research and development. So prior to going to rehearsal, we'll have 2 or 3 weeks of research and development, which are separate to rehearsal. And we'll go into a room with the actors and designers, and we'll ask ourselves various questions about the idea that we then investigate. You don't need to answer the questions. So for instance, in the Comedy of Errors thing, this idea of music, I remember in the research and development, I said, well, what is this music? So in the week, we experimented with looking at the music from the Yugoslavian film, and we weren't going to copy that, but we looked at that. And then through the instruments that the actors could play, we found our own style of music that was inspired or informed by the movie. So that's often what happens in the research and development. Then we go into a rehearsal for maybe 5 or 6 weeks. If we're working on, say, a Shakespeare, like I said, we don't spend a lot of time reading it. We make sure we understand the story of the scene, and then very quickly we're on our feet and we're doing it. I think sometimes people can feel they understand the Shakespeare when they sit down and they've been analysing it, but you only really understand it when you're up and doing it. I think that can happen a lot. You can think, oh, I know what that line means. And then when you're suddenly on your feet, you go, oh, that's what I'm trying to do to that person, or that's what that person's doing to me. So we try to make it very active very quickly. We're trying to find almost a visual equivalent for everything that is said in the play as well. So we're trying to find a visual language which can tell that story as well. So it's not all carried by the words. And also, we're not precious about the Shakespeare. We will cut it, we will change it, we will move the order around. And some people don't agree with that, but for us, it's a living, breathing thing. And I think it's important when you approach it, that you approach it like this play has never been done before. We often say when we do Shakespeare, imagine if this was a brand new play. So we try to treat it freshly every time.